Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. As the title says, we are with a new update. And you might think I'm here showing the character without gloves and without helmet. But have a look at it. It's still on. We can switch it on and off. For me today we don't have that much that we will go into in regards of the update, because we have planned to do some environmental changes around our home. Maybe just as a little thing, we can now craft more different kinds of lanterns, so we might have a look into that to change the lighting in our and around our home in combination with the landscaping we'll do. In between the sessions I have had a little bit of luck and a little bit less of luck. Was a little bit unlucky as well with deaths. But what we managed to do, we could upgrade our workbench to tier 10. Alright, that's lovely to see. So with tier 10 we have almost everything unlocked. We now just have to get to 200 memories, which I tried to do as well. I got some underwater mob, some new kind of fanatics and some cold mobs, but that will not be sufficient. I think we need still around 12, and that's only 5, so that won't be happening today most likely. It's dark outside, so let's have a little nap so we can actually see what we're dealing with today. Alright. So I think we'll leave the interior for today. Oh yeah, we also got these lovely statues here. Might not be that fitting on the door. We'll have a look. We made our little fishing dock over here with the beach. I extended the beach a little bit. So if you're standing around here and look all the way over here, looks kind of decent. What we will do today is transform this area here mainly, and maybe continue the path over here. But I think I want to change those little pastures for our critters. So not sure what exactly we're gonna do here yet. That's why we'll focus more on the pond area and leave that to a later stage. I have already some thoughts what we will do next to our farm area. Mainly we will increase the farm area. So once we get to 200 memories, we have access to the eternal potatoes and onions as well, so we'll have a little patch of those as well. Over here we will transform it into a little bit of a bouldery landscape with all kinds of boulders sticking out. Yes, but pond. What do we do with the pond? I have not seen any updates in regards of water, so let's have a quick look if water sources still... Yeah, still not renewable. So what we will probably do is we will not have the full pond raised, but I would like to raise this area a little bit. Quite easily fill it up with some dirt, so it's not so steep from the entrance anymore, more like 1 or 2 blocks, a little bit on the height of Yeah, actually 2 blocks will be fine. To this height here. And then make the pond a little bit more central and decorate it and everything. So the water issue will remain at the moment. What we will do is we will make a ton of buckets and we will take all that water we have here and put it in chests in buckets. So once we have the area for the pond ready, we can fill the top layer, then dig out underneath it, and it can float to the bottom, but from top it will look smooth. So let's do that. What we will need today are definitely 0 weapons. So we'll go to our little chest here, put those in here. Maybe the hatchet, maybe the healing totem so we don't need the food. And no teleporters. Buckets. $30 should be sufficient. I somewhere got another batch of buckets as well. I'll have a look where we got those. We'll start with 30, let's say like that. Are they in here? No, they're not. Okay, so let's grab some chests. Here are the rest of the buckets. Perfect. Some space for some chests. Let's take the Farron ones. They'll just be temporarily, so we'll not have to worry about the looks of it. Double chest here. Perfect. Let's swap some stuff in the inventory around. No need for that. And it's bucket time. Well, me and Membrane, clicking the wrong buttons as usual. There we go. And if you have any questions, just typing in the chat or leave a comment, so I can have a look at it and address it the next episode. Well, that's a waste of a bucket. Alright, we'll be needing more chests. And more buckets. Oh yeah, they also added the thorium hoe. and they updated the levels on which you can unlock the different hoses. And I'm looking forward what that will be here, because that was not here yet. Also with the range we got now, radius of 14, we might consider switching a little bit. In regards of the storage system, to place it on the top floor, maybe. Although I do prefer to come back from the teleporter and be able to just dump stuff, so we'll have to see. Maybe we need to place that up top as well. And I know water to be a non-renewable resource is realistic, but as mentioned before, you need some way to be able to transport water, because how it is right now is not really viable for long term. Even if you have to craft something like a fountain or something, or have the bucket stack, because this is just a pain. Not really pleasant gameplay in that regard. What would be your solution if you had one? If you could decide. We'll be needing some more chests. Yeah, there's some little minor things that are updated. In terms of quality of life as well, but it doesn't really concern us today, so we'll not have a deep look into it. Oops. Well, that'll work. finger symptom. That's a lot more work than I thought. And bucket time. I love how the different blocks already make different noises when you jump on them. What would be your expectations in regards of the next update? What would you focus on? For me personally, again, the water, and maybe the how you break certain stuff that it adds up. Because at the moment, if you break stone decoration, you still need the hatchet, because it's all kind of coded like every decoration piece is wood. So if I want to destroy a stone bench, I need a hatchet, which needs a lot of rethinking. Well, not a lot, but needs to jog your brain each time you do it. And I don't know how hard it is to code that stuff, but I'd focus on those little things. It's not an immediate threat and quality of life thing that is urgently needed. But I think if you pay attention to small details as well, you do not risk to become like a game that just implements new stuff more and more and have it just be kind of buggy. Yeah, like a lot of games have that there are a lot of bugs or weird things around, which then as well can be exploited in some kind of way. And they just keep adding stuff because, yeah, that's what the community screams for, but it loses more and more of the player base or does not interest new players because, yeah, the love for the details was lost in just listening to those who scream the loudest. So I think it's important to keep your vision of the game, and as I understood it, Hypixel Studios wanted to have a game that is very immersive. They also changed the scaling in regards of the pickaxes and the minimal requirement for adamantium to be mined is now cobalt and thorium. One of those you need at least to be able to mine adamantite. I'm really worried on the wording they wrote on the update notes. We might have to check that out today, because it says it requires a thorium or cobalt pickaxe. It does not state it requires a minimum. So if they say it requires those, you might not be able to mine adamantite with adamantite pickaxes, which would be really silly. But the wording on that was, let's say, questionable. I think we're getting there. Like 2-3 more batches, especially if I waste sources like that. Alright. That and then one more. I think we should be fine. I do want to make a little bit smaller pond anyway, so we might not need all the sources. And in case we need more, we'll teleport somewhere into the ocean and grab a bunch from there. Or near the ocean, as we don't have a teleporter in the ocean. Also, I think they should wait with a water update in regards of diving, because they already have a lot of mobs, but the underwater world so far is more interesting because of exposed ore, and they have the corals and stuff, but it's not that vivid. So if you give people the ability to breathe underwater already, I think you could pass on a big hype that you could get with that, because it has a huge potential, honestly. But of course, as it is now, the underwater section sucks, because you can't really go comfortably to the depths that you want, and if you bug out, you will drown for sure. Speaking out of experience here, sadly, as yes, I dug some air pockets and stuff, but then the game somehow bugged and I could not go lower again, and then I was so long drifting slightly upwards that I couldn't reach the surface anymore. And I couldn't reach any sides anymore because I couldn't go down. So mining air pocket wasn't really an option. So I think it's kind of a good tease that people that do want to put the work in and make some kind of tunnel down or so, they can do that and can still fully explore it. But if you can just see it at the moment, and it's a really tough thing to do, one, it's a good challenge for a game that, for me at the moment, in the general gear I have, is, let's say, not that much of a challenge beside mob fighting anymore. But yeah, to be honest, I've been playing that now for a week, 1.5 approximately, and I've played a lot. I think if I would play Minecraft, I would be at the same stage, Diamond Enchanted, or even some netherite stuff as well, incoming, at least. Alright, I think that will be the last batch. Let's fill up completely, and then we'll empty out that pond. That's a handful of sources, we can kill those. And it's time to sleep soon, so we can see something. Alright, there we go. Let's sleep and have a little resource check if we have enough dirt and stuff, just to start the project already. Well, 16 game minutes, we'll do that right now. Got plenty of dirt. We'll have to take a look at the farmer's workbench, what we can do with it all. I don't think I want to go into the gravel part on the theme of the beach. I think I want to put it a little bit more to the left and then have it its own like little pond-like area with more greenery and plants. Because the beach is a little bit desert-like. I think with the dirt we can outline most of it. Not sure, I think there is some kind of mud. Mud here. Yeah, we can craft some of that. As floor in the water and then maybe put some rocks in and stuff. Okay, so we want to go a little bit more to the left here. So it can be its own area and it's not totally connecting to the beach over here. But more like in this vicinity. So let's get out our hatchet and get the trees down for now. And maybe outline the bottom area of the pond. So if we go something like that. I think that could be lovely. And if we raise it a little bit here as well, as said, so it isn't that steep of a slope, we can give it a little hill here as well, so we don't see the beach if you're up here. So basically that will be the viewpoint from the farming area and stuff. So we might delete this row here as well. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll get rid of that. Because that will have to be mud as well if that's this high. I think this is the highest layer. So it will be 2 to 3 deep. I think that's fine, we don't need to deepen that more. But we'll take out the floor and replace it with mud as well. So basically everything grass needs to go. Oh yeah, we should get some frogs for here later on. I think we have one or two already, but that would be a really cool addition. And I know the shovel can do multiple patches of dirt at once, but it's not one-hitting like the thorium adamantite, so I'm pretty sure that's quicker, especially as the hitbox for it is not something I feel really comfortable with. It's just a little bit too messy and buggy. Sometimes it just takes 2 blocks, sometimes it can take 6 blocks. That's a bit weird for me, so I prefer it this way. Where is my hatchet? Yeah, we'll fill that in, so that'll be good. Maybe some of that stuff towards the edges somewhere, not fully, because I don't want it fully muddy around the edges, but it doesn't really make sense that the bottom of a pond is stony and then the edges are muddy. It's more the center and the bottom that are muddy, and maybe there's like an area which is more gravelly. Yeah. Alright. Good. Then we'll go here. Do a little bit more here in the center, just in case. Maybe we can make a little, yeah, we'll see. Depending on how green and luscious it will be, maybe we'll have a little waterfall trickling down somewhere. But for right now, let's just fill it in. So that will be the bottom row here. And if you do want to make someone's life in Hytale miserable, replace their floors with mud, because you're so slow in them. We'll be needing a lot more mud. And it's back to dirt. Alright, we got a lot of dirt as well from digging the grass out, so won't be an issue to craft the mud. Maybe that's sufficient? We'll see. Could have it a little bit more steep on that side and then have some rocks in here which explain why it's a little bit more steep here and not that muddy, because the rocks hold it from flooding all into the middle. But let's first fill the floor with mud and then we'll go from there. Alright, it's good for this side. Alright. We're slowly getting there. Slowly. In hindsight, not the smartest move. Could have done the most of it with dirt and then the top with mud, but we got it, so what do we care? Let's finish it like that. Okay, so that will be our pond. Minus the grassy stuff. We'll have some moss and stuff in here, so. Okay, so now that we have the outline, I think we should fill in the right side. And don't worry, we'll not fill it totally, as mob spawn doesn't work the same as in Minecraft. But with the pond shape distinguished, I think we can fill up this here a little bit. Just make a top layer over it, we'll be fine. Yeah, let's make a quick bio break and we'll be right back. Are we working again? Yes, we are back to working. Sorry, my headphones had a little trouble. Here we go. Alright, we'll fill that in. I think we'll start with dirt, just to get an overview on which height. I was thinking around here. Maybe raise this one here a little bit outwards. to have a softer transition. Yeah, because too wide is a little bit less harsh than just one drop, one drop, one drop. Because then you can see the next step and not just be down on your knees and fall down. Okay, that's like I thought. Maybe on this height will be good. Yeah, let's get some grass, then we can raise it a little bit again towards the pond, but grass. A little dip here. But be back on track over here. I don't know what it is, but an empty flat surface just sparks my imagination. Like you would hear from painters and stuff. Let's have a look. Yeah, we'll go with that. And then, is that 1 or 2 up? 1. That's perfect. Because it has to be a little bit on that height, otherwise it would not make sense for the water to collect in the pond but not flow next to the next lower area. So we might need like something like that. For a couple of blocks around it at least. We'll see with some boulders and so maybe to stabilize it as well as mentioned here in the more steeper area. We'll bring in some variation later. For right now, it's just terraforming. Details later. I knew it's shining through. But that's interesting. If it does shine through, oh, maybe just because it's broken. Probably. Would make for some dynamic and interesting lighting. Yeah, I think that will be good. We'll make it more crowded here with trees and boulders to make it a little bit of a view barrier to the pond, and then have the view to the pond more from here. So from here you'll have a tree or two in the way. Yeah, looks already pretty good. we're running out of soil blocks, so we'll see what we do there. I think we made some pretty decent progress here in that part. I like that little dent as well. Gives the area a little bit more character. So that pathway here will be fixed a little bit as well. Maybe cut that corner that's a little bit tight. But I think what we'll do is we'll wrap up the stream here. Not that many viewers at the moment, and I'll have to do laundry and everything in the weekend stuff. But what I'll do in between episodes again, I'll go gather a little bit more resources so we can tackle this next time. We'll do the pond area. We'll leave the detailing out of the right side a little bit. We'll make a little barrier here. We'll fill up the pond and detail the pond. Yeah, let's focus on that next time. As usually, if you have any questions, just leave a message, type it in the chat, comment, so we can tackle that on the next stream. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.